underestimate to what extent privileged, especially white women, are willing to sacrifice their children for the altar of status. For them, having a trans kid is like winning the lottery, right? And you laugh, but it's really the case. It's very disturbing. They're the only ones bringing their kids to drag shows because for these affluent white female liberals, awfuls, a man in makeup is like the second coming. And you know, they're showing dad or their husband or whoever how enlightened they are because this is what corporate media tells them. So they can't wait to bring their kids and show how with the program they are. So they are a menace. And this, in my opinion, is Munchausen's by proxy. You know, they're torturing their kids.
Not talking about as a society that you think we really should be.
There is a really sick online culture of Reddit and different social media where they're all affirming each other in a very female empathetic way, and it's making people feel worse and worse and worse. So it's kind of toxic empathy where everybody's, oh, it's really hard for you, oh, it's really hard for you, and nobody is willing to do the hard, challenging conversation. Everybody is so empathetic and kind to each other, and it's all, oh, don't worry. It's very unnourishing because nobody will give it to you straight.
Truth has a value.
Yeah, and depth has a value, and it's vacuous. I think there's a real, genuine, toxic culture. I know everybody says it, but I think we're not talking about just how toxic it is to be a teenager these days. I think it's really hard. And I think they're suffering on a deep level. It's really unfortunate because we've never had it so good.
What you just said is untrue. The Jews were the original nation, hundreds and hundreds of years before Islam was even invented. Basically, the precursor of the United Nations, the League of Nations, decided that as a matter of international treaty obligation, the British would be given custodianship of Palestine called the Mandate, under which Britain would be under a binding treaty obligation to return the Jews to their ancestral homeland to recreate it. Now, what was Palestine at the time? Well, a bit of it, a very large chunk of it, was promptly given away to the Arabs by Winston Churchill to become Transjordan, which is now Jordan. So what did that leave as the territory within which Britain had a binding duty to return the Jews as a matter of historic right? What was that territory? It is what is now Israel, what is called the West Bank, and Gaza.
Right. 5 years ago, Matt Rife used to open for me. And he hit me up and he was like, hey bro, I'm having trouble getting an agent. Do you think you can? I go, let me call my agency. Let me put a word in for you. So I call my agency. I say, you guys, have you thought about Matt Rife? No. I go, what do you mean? Do you know him? Yeah, we're familiar. I go, the kid's a home run. He's really good looking, really funny. He's young. He's a great kid. He's not a dickhead. I go, he's got all the, I'm telling you, the kid is a star and whoever takes him is going to make a lot of money. The kid is a star. And they were like, no, we're going to pass. And now look at Matt Rife. And my agent, every time I see my agent, I go, hey, remember when I offered you Matt Rife? He goes, I know. Next time you offer me somebody, I'm taking him. Because I offered him Theo Vaughn as well at that time.
Wow.
I said, Matt Rife and Theo Vaughn. They were like, nah, we're passing. And I'm like, you're fucking idiots. How do you run this business when you don't know, when you can't spot the talent? 3 big Indian dudes surrounded me at this, pushing me against the wall, surrounded me. There's one here, one in front of me. And they're like, we don't like the jokes you're making and you don't disrespect. And I'm like, and the guys poking me, and as soon as I just went, pop, 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 and I just got the fuck out of there. I hit all 3 of them when I ran out the fucking club.
Really? So even back then...
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah.
You beat up 3 Indian dudes?
3 dudes. I was surrounded. I had no choice. If I didn't do that, they were going to beat the shit out of me. It's at that point you go for it.
You really do, you do have that, what do they call it? Internalized brown phobia, whatever it is.
It's, no, it's fight or flight.
Well, I hope you folks enjoyed those couple of video vignettes. That gentleman there talking about the awful ladies, the awful women, right? The adult, white, female liberals who, like he said, have just had jackpot, winning the lottery, because now they can tell all their white liberal friends or any of their friends out there, hey, my child's a transgender, my child's a trans woman, my child's a trans man. Isn't that just wonderful? They can parade them out. They can put them on social media, on TikTok, on YouTube, on, whatever they want. Hopefully, getting calls from the social media outlets to portray their story of how their child, all by themselves, 2 years old, 1 year old, 3, 4, 5-year-old, all by themselves. Nothing came from the mommy or the daddy. Nothing came from them. They just made a decision, an adult decision. A 3 or 4-year-old or 5-year-old has made an adult decision about his gender, his sex, and wants to continue down that road. And they're just so proud of that fact. And we all know it's bullshit, pure BS. Munchausen by proxy, absolutely. These women, these parents, so-called parents, are absolutely disgusting, despicable, vile human beings. They should be nowhere near a child. Nowhere near a child should these people be allowed to be because of putting their children in danger. You know what the suicide rate is among these kids that really aren't transgender at all? Just going through, some type of a stressful, it's teenagers in those early years, 11, 12, 13, middle age, going to school, middle school, junior high, high school. You're still not, you're in your teenage formative years. Could be bullying associated with it, some psychological problems, crying out for all kinds of things. And maybe this is the thing that they latch on to. There's so many things that have to be investigated first. You have to take a look at it. But anyways, and then with the Russell Peters, man, that's one great comedian, folks. Canadian. He goes after every freaking buddy. I've been to several of his shows. Funny as all heck. Goes after, I don't, Ricky Gervais is the same way, but Russell goes after it completely, different. He goes after it from his, I guess, Indian immigrant perspective up in Canada, and just literally, goes after people in the crowd. It just literally goes after people in the crowd. But anyways, we hope that you've enjoyed, these video vignettes that we brought to you. You're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. And if you haven't done so already, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Let us know what you think. Take a look at our other video above and below. I'll leave with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.